Welcome to the Red Wagon Estate Planning and Elder Law Show, hosted by me, yours truly, Jeffrey Bellomo, where we discuss all things estate planning and elder law, and well, hey, anything else we want to talk about. Now, on today's episode, we probably won't be talking specifically about estate planning and elder law, although we might a little bit from our way that I met Ginnie. But I have Ginnie Kite here with me today, and Ginnie is a local real estate agent whom I met actually years prior, and we'll talk about that in a minute, so stay tuned. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you, please don't take what you hear from this show or any other show for that matter to constitute legal advice. If you are looking for legal advice pertaining to a specific situation, please contact an attorney licensed in the state that you reside in, who practices law in the area of law that you are looking for advice in. And once they meet with you and discuss the facts of your particular situation and give you advice on it, that is what you should constitute to be legal advice. This show and any other show for that matter should be for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. And certainly you're going to learn stuff, but it's more for educational information. At Bellomo and Associates, we educate so that what happened to my family does not happen to yours. We have free weekly workshops in the pre-planning, estate planning context, as well as the crisis Medicaid context, life care planning, special needs planning, and post-death administration. So if you're looking for information in any of those areas, please give us a call at 717-845-5390 or check us out on the web at www.bellomoassociates.com. All right. Ginnie, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
I know, right? I know you got back recently from a vacation, which I think we're going to probably talk about at some point, and I'm heading on mine. So I'm looking forward to that conversation too. But before we get into all that, let's go back a few years. How did we meet initially, Ginnie?
Oh, goodness gracious. That was over a decade ago, I believe, Jeff.
I think it was.
It was. And I was working for a company, long-term care community, and was their nursing home administrator, as well as working interimly as the executive director. And in doing so, you actually provided several educations, as well as just providing guidance with how do we help individuals in a nursing home situation and how to really protect them the best we possibly can. So that's how we met. And in doing so, our relationship has grown over the years, and I've morphed into a different career, reinvented myself once again. And we could talk a little bit more about that, I guess, shortly. But
Yeah.
we really having the opportunity to meet and I guess kind of connect originally. I believe it was almost 15 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was.
Just seeing the passion that you have for older adults and myself, just making sure that they're protected in any way they possibly can be protected.
That's awesome. I'm sure being in that field for you, it's got to be a very rewarding experience, but I imagine also tough at times too.
Absolutely, it can be.
Ugh.
I was blessed. For some reason, God was looking down and saying, Ginnie, you don't need to be in long-term care during the COVID situation. And prior to COVID is when I actually left long-term care.
Yeah.
And because my emotion would have been overwhelming, I think at times, to see some of the negative things that happened during that time frame. But thank goodness we're through that and on the better side of COVID. So, and healthcare is definitely bouncing back in many ways. So
I was just having a conversation yesterday with a team member, and we were talking about signings of documents during COVID and being at facilities outside windows and passing documents through windows. And I didn't remember that. I had no recollection. And then as we were talking about it, I started visualizing all of the facilities in York County and what window I would stand outside. And I was like, whoa, like what a crazy time. I totally had blocked that out. I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but oh man, yeah, I think you got out at the right time. So All right. So healthcare, executive director, real estate, slightly different, although yeah, it's slightly different, but I know that maybe not necessarily that different. So tell us why the journey into real estate.
So I was working for a ventilator support long-term care facility, and
Yep.
at that point, the company was having some challenges, and from there, I decided, do I want to continue in this industry?
Okay.
And I actually made the choice to leave the company, and then I was like, well, what am I going to do with myself?
Yeah. Yeah. What now?
What am I going to do? So I actually, my husband at the time went and he had suggested, they when we were selling our home and buying our home, because we actually moved to Philly for a short time as well. We Our real estate agent said, "Oh, you make a great agent." Well, every agent says that to everyone,
Oh,
right?
oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I was excited for you.
So, in doing so, though, I was very fortunate and I did meet with my agent that helped us to sell and buy. And shortly thereafter, here I am taking the classes, and it was a great opportunity. And I then started right before COVID, November of 2019. And then COVID hit.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that close in time.
It was that close,
I
unfortunately.
Wow, I thought it was earlier than that. Wow. So
So
what a heck of a start for you.
exactly. So we
Ooh.
were very fortunate though. And then the latter part of 2020, I actually became very successful. And once we were out of COVID, and I have continued to be very successful and very blessed in the things that I do. And I think innately I went and not even realizing when I was getting into real estate that I would gravitate towards older adults, and older adults would gravitate towards myself. But I think just from my years of experience and having conversations and family conversations, and what that might look like to an older adult, and the approachability was a huge benefit, I guess, from that standpoint. And at this point now, over 75% of my clientele are older adults.
No way. I did not know. I mean, I knew that you're very good with older adults, and certainly you get the conversations and what needs to be said, but I didn't realize it was that high.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I think a part of that, Jeff, is when I meet a new individual, it's about building that relationship. And a lot of times when I go into someone's house, we don't even talk about real estate that much. We talk about their quality of life.
Right.
And we talk about have they updated their POAs lately, or have they,
Yeah.
who do they want involved with their resources once we do sell the house, and what does that look like to them? And the most important part is not the money aspect for them. And this is where I think my history and previous education comes into play, is what does that quality of life look like? So are they choosing a situation where they're going to go from one house to another house that's not really going to be the best choice for them, or are they going to go into a long-term care community? What does that look like? And that's where I think I really differentiate, because we talk about those things. We talk, like, I've had to have realistic conversations and say to someone that's 85 years old, a couple that I actually just met with on Tuesday after about 9 months of meeting back and forth. But probably about 3 months ago, we had that conversation of, how long do you plan to live?
Oh, wow.
And he chuckled and he's like, "Well, I've outlived all the men in my family." So I'm doing good. I want to live maybe another 5 years, but then I'm good. And she, on the other hand, she's 85 as well. And she's like, well, the women in my family, they live until close to in their late 90s. And she had an aunt that's 103. And she's like, I'm planning on living another 15 years. I'm like, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. So how do we accomplish that? And how do we create the best quality of life for you to live and really enjoy life as you would choose to,
Yeah.
for as long as you possibly can without having to go to those next levels of care, and really keep their home environment safe, either A,
Yeah.
where they're at, or B, in another situation that's going to be best.
Yeah. And I think for me, from my perspective, I mean, people are always asking me, um, is it time? Should we be moving mom to another place? Should there be assisted living? Should it be a nursing home? Should it be, and yeah, on our team, we have social workers, and certainly, they can help and work with the life care planning team. But a lot of times they're just looking for kind of general conversation where, wow, for you, you talk about a slam dunk. I mean, a soft pitch for you to hit a home run on, because you actually know the differences. You understand how that works. And they're going to have such a comfort level because you're going to shoot straight with them. And maybe there is another house out there that would be better. Maybe there's a house that you could find that would be more accommodating for them on one floor and easy access. That maybe, I mean, who knows? But certainly most real estate agents can't really have a lot of those conversations.
Well, even so the couple I was referencing, we just
Yeah.
went and visit a long-term care community on Tuesday. And
You went with them?
yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
I've toured multiple
Oh,
times with older adults because
I love you.
they've established that trust with me. And the other thing is sometimes the language is a little overwhelming
Hmm.
when they start talking about um, their activities of daily living and things like, what does that mean? And what does personal care mean versus independent living, and those different levels. So we've already kind of had a preempt conversation about those different levels and what that means at a high level. But then going and touring with them, and with those individuals, my professional opinion is they really need to be in long-term care. I can easily go with Jeff, and I've showed them condos, and we've looked at condos that they don't have to worry about the outside, they just have to worry about the inside.
Right.
But in reality is their concern is, what does that look like if one of them passed? And that's one of
That's the
the
issue.
biggest conversations that is actually pretty, from an emotional standpoint for older adults, that seems to be one of the most concerning, because they don't want their spouse to be left in a predicament that's not comfortable for them.
Oh, wow.
So we have those
Wow.
conversations. So if, Mr. is comfortable staying home and not really having a lot of socialization, but Mrs. strives for socialization and needs socialization, what's
Yeah.
the best situation for them? So, like for instance, that situation from a I'm not gonna make I'm not making any money,
Right.
they say, with helping them to move into a long-term care community, because I don't get paid to do that aspect of it.
Right.
It's more like, what is the best quality for them? And then, maybe I'll be blessed with the opportunity to sell their home. But instead of, if not understanding the different elements of someone's quality of life and what their ultimate needs are, uh, a situation could be they could go into a condo and here within a year, it's not a good situation for them medically.
Right.
And then turning around, and now they have to endure one more move, or
Right.
the one spouse is left there and not knowing what to do, confused, frustrated. And that's the part that we don't want to see that I don't want to see happen,
Yeah.
because I've had the experience of sitting across from a settlement table and seeing other situations occur where the other side of the table, there was an older adult, and just through certain conversations, I could tell that this might not be the best opportunity for them.
Oh,
And that's the part that just breaks my heart because they're
yeah.
now in a year and 2 years and 3 years, even 5 years. What is that going to look like for them? And that coming back to maximizing the time that they're here on this world, so.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I always loved when we got to know each other a little bit was, I was not necessarily new in the profession, but always learning. And you were always willing to sort of explain things and educate me and help and not be judgmental. And um, I, you said that sort of in passing, but I just want to highlight something that you just said that I don't want it to just get slipped by without really highlighting it. You're taking people that you do not have a signed contract to sell their house to help them, to help ask questions, answer questions, find the best situation for them, knowing full well that if they end up choosing that option, you won't get paid on the side. And yet it doesn't matter. I mean, you're educating and you're doing the right thing. And I mean, I just don't want that to go by without highlighting it because it comes very naturally to you, but I don't think that comes very naturally to most people.
I Jeff, I've lived my life with the fact that I think if you give goodness out, you get goodness back.
Yeah.
And I'm a woman of faith, and I really think that doing the right thing is the right thing to do always, no
Yeah.
matter how challenging it may feel at times. And that's I do well, and you're aware also, I believe that I do a lot of education out in the community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a whole nother aspect of just helping people to understand. And I think from my previous experiences, I like to educate. I like to help people and share knowledge and just make sure that they're taken care of. So thank you so much. I really appreciate those kind words.
Yeah, and I was actually going to mention the joint events, like educational stuff that you do, and you were kind enough to bring me in on a couple, and always loved that time together and presenting with you. And I think education is key. We both share that, and I think that's probably where a lot of the synergies between us started in terms of, wow, we both want to do that, and to some extent in professions that maybe don't always do that. So.
Mhm.
Uh, Kind of a little different for both. So, I just thinking about too, that one event in particular, I can still visualize where we were standing and we were having a long conversation.
Mhm.
And I could see it. I can still see us standing there having the conversation. It's just crazy how time goes by on some levels so slowly and obviously in some levels very fast. But
Absolutely.
so, so what has been your favorite thing about real estate? Like what maybe something that surprised you or just in general, what are you enjoying the most?
Oh, goodness. I'm enjoying when the just building the relationship.
Yeah, that's what I figured you were
Just
gonna
building
say.
the relationships.
Yeah.
It's great when you have an individual that they have a new house and they're so excited and you can see the love that they're going to put into that house and the memories they're going to create. And then seeing another individual that's leaving a house that their memories are there, and how do you capture that for them, and really help them to treasure that and move forward. So I think it's more both from the happy moments to the moments that are not so happy because you're leaving memories,
Yeah.
um, and, or leaving items or leaving a home that has created such wonderful memories. And
Yeah.
I think helping individuals go through that. I've had a lot of older adults cry on my shoulder because of that moment,
Oh,
and that it breaks your heart. But as we all know, every time we move, we're leaving those memories. And I remember distinctly that the first home I left, when we sold our house was there was we were keeping track of our son's height, our growth, in
Yeah. Yes.
how many of us have done that?
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I was at that point living we I was in transit with a job that was not in the area, so I was staying remotely, and then I'd come home on the weekends. And I came home the one day and hear, wait, there was paint on that marker of the time on the wall, and I was like, what happened? And my husband's like, well, we had to paint the wall, and I'm like, oh, like, and that was just a memory that I had, and
Yeah.
it was a memory for me, and he did end up taking a picture of it before he did it, which was sweet.
Oh,
But it was, one of those things, just every one of us, so those moments can be challenging, but I think it's more just the relationships that I build, and the I have individuals, I've had one, individual that on a Friday afternoon, which you know as well as I do, Jeff, everything happens on a Friday, right?
yeah, it always does.
And here the God lover here, her mother had a fall. She was in the hospital. They didn't know where to put her. And the first person she thought to call was me and
Oh,
say, "What do I do?" And I'm like,
oh,
"Okay, well, let's walk through this. What do we need?" And um, then just helping her more on an emotional basis of because she was overwhelmed,
yeah.
and didn't
Wow.
know what to do, and didn't know who to select, what not, who not to select, and so forth. So, like even things like that, and then I stayed in communication through the weekend into the next week, and it it was a good situation that
Yeah.
resulted, and it ended up well for her mother that her mother received the care she needed.
Awesome.
But that here it that's an area in my wheelhouse that I offer that it just happens
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I would be remiss because we share a love, I believe, at least recently you were on a vacation to
Yeah.
Disney. Could you talk a little bit about it? And I'm just so excited for you and I love seeing the pictures.
So, I have a 6-year-old bonus son,
Wow.
and, about a year and a half ago, we took him to Disneyland, and he had a blast, but he wasn't tall enough. So we were waiting
Oh,
until he was the right height and went and decided to plan and we stayed at the animal kingdom with my mother-in-law and father-in-law and my husband and my bonus son, and we just had an absolute blast. We actually did 4 of the parks, and Magic Kingdom we did 2 days, so we had 5 days of park fun. And he actually went on every ride, and his
wow.
favorite ride was there was a couple favorites, he couldn't decide, of course,
Okay.
but, the, Tower of Terror, where you're in the
Yep.
elevator and you're dropping, and then he liked one of the fast train rides, and,
Oh, yeah.
loved Tron.
Oh, good
That
one.
was he wasn't sure about that one at first, and then he got on it, and he's like, "I wanna do that again." So,
Oh,
he had an absolute blast with Tron as well. So, we had experienced all the fast rides, and he was all about it. So,
well, I have to give you kudos for 5 days of parks in a row.
yeah,
I
it was
mean,
exhausting.
holy cow. I don't think I'd be able to walk for a month.
It was exhausting, so,
Very
but
cool.
we planned it out and did well. So, and my mother-in-law, father-in-law, actually, they were troopers as well. So it worked
Wow.
out very well.
I love seeing the pictures. When you started posting a little bit of the pictures, I was just living through you for well, a week actually, right? 5 days I was living through you. So that was awesome. So thank you for sharing that. So if a listener was trying to locate you to ask information or questions or get education, how would they reach out to you?
Well, my local office is at East York. You could always reach out that way, as well as I have a website, GinnieKiteGroup.com, and also my direct phone number is 717-356-3774, and be happy to have any conversations with anyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ginnie. Thank you for being with us today. And to my listeners, thank you for attending the Red Wagon Estate Planning and Elder Law Show. It's been a real pleasure. I have been looking forward to this podcast for a while. And so it came to fruition, and I knew the time was going to fly by. So as I looked over, I was like, oh, we have to wrap here. So thank you again to my listeners for the Red Wagon Estate Planning and Elder Law Show. Ginnie, thank you. And until next time, we'll see you real soon.